Can you imagine that the former president of Honduras, his name is Juan Orlando Hernandez, was prosecuted by the federal government of the United States for his involvement in the trade in narcotics. He was found guilty of having been involved and sentenced to some 45 years in prison as a result. He once boasted as president that he would stuff the drugs up the gringos' noses. He accepted a $1 million bribe from El Chapo, one of the leaders in Narcotics International, to allow cocaine shipments to pass through Honduras destined for the United States. This former President Hernandez had a man killed in prison to protect him. Honduras has become a bastion of the global drug trade. This former President Hernandez orchestrated a vast trafficking conspiracy that prosecutors said raked in millions of dollars for cartels while making Honduras one of Central America's poorest, most violent, and most corrupt countries. So they prosecute him, find him guilty of selling narcotics through these cartels in the United States. Can you think of anyone more reprehensible than that? Selling drugs to this country, finding more victims by the day, many of them children who become addicted to cocaine. Well, of course it's terrible. It's so terrible that he was found guilty and sentenced to 45 years in prison. Then what happened? Well, you won't believe it. Donald Trump pulls out his pardon pen. On Saturday, Mr. Trump said in a statement to the New York Times that, quote, many friends have asked him to pardon Mr. Hernandez. They gave him 45 years because he was president of the country. And then Donald Trump said, you could do this to any president. I won't go into President Trump's own criminal convictions, but I will tell you this. When this man who was president of Honduras was facilitating the sale of narcotics in America, we thought so much of the effort to prosecute him that we assigned an assistant U.S. attorney by the name of Emil Bove. Ring a bell? Emil Bove was chosen by President Trump to serve on the Circuit Court of the United States. He was approved by this chamber. I was at the hearing where he was considered. And I will tell you this, he was proud of the fact that he was tough on crime, so tough that he helped to prosecute Hernandez and ended up seeing him sent to jail for so many years. Then along comes President Trump with his pardon pen and releases Hernandez from jail. Releases him. After years and years of prosecution, evidence, and hard work, stopping this man who was facilitating the sale of narcotics in the United States, once he started serving the prison sentence, President Trump said, and I quote, many friends had asked him to pardon Mr. Hernandez. They gave him 45 years, President Trump said, because he was the president of the country. You could do this to any president, and he then pardoned him. Hard to imagine, isn't it? But it isn't hard to imagine if you were here on January 7th and saw the insurrectionists come roaring through this Capitol, storm this chamber, and drive the Senate into recess as we went to an adjoining building so that law enforcement could take over the situation. 149 law enforcement officers were seriously injured and several died as a result of that experience. It was a terrible day in the history of the United States, a terrible day in the history of this magnificent building that we're honored to serve in. What did Donald Trump do as soon as he was reelected president? He issued a full and unconditional pardon to all of the people who stormed the Capitol. So it comes as no surprise that when it comes to drug kingpins, like the former Honduran president, Mr. Hernandez, he got his pardon penny and decided, because he'd heard from so many friends, the president said, he decided to pardon this man and release him. This is not an action by a president who's trying to keep America safe from narcotics. It is a strange understanding of his power that he would use this and not end up penalizing those who are responsible for the narcotics coming into the United States. Madam President, I yield the floor.